Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews, and it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Adolfo Dorta on the phone with me right now. He is one of the guys that's actually over Days of the Dead Horror and Tattoo Convention. It's going to be at the Crowne Plaza Airport in Louisville, Kentucky, September 2nd through the 4th, and I suggest you guys and gals to get out there. They got some awesome guests, and we're going to be going over here in just a little bit. So, Adolfo, how's it going, my brother?
How's it going, John? Thanks for having me.
That's awesome. I'm glad that there's another horror convention in Kentucky. I think we need one here in Eastern Kentucky. Hint, hint to you. But we are definitely appreciative to what you guys are doing, so thanks, man.
Thank you, man. We're really excited for it. Louisville's a city we've wanted to jump into for a while, and it was just a matter of finding the right space and the right hotel to host it. And the Crowne's been more than generous in helping us out and putting things together. And because fans may or may not know it, but it's a lot harder than you would think to find a place to host a horror convention. First thing that happens often when you walk into a hotel and say, "Hey, I want to put on a horror convention," 9 times out of 10, you get that weird look, oh no, and then you get the door shut in your face. So we're very grateful to the Crowne for hosting us and signing up to put up with our motley crew for the weekend, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
What's impressed you the most about this year's Days of the Dead for Louisville lineup?
I think it's just all around how well received it's been with the fans. We're doing sort of for our first year in Louisville, we're doing sort of a best of various other guests and reunions that we've done at other shows that have gone really well for us and fans have asked for. And, it came together pretty smoothly, but the response from the fans, not just out of Louisville, but in some of the surrounding cities like Indianapolis and Lexington and Cincinnati, has been overwhelmingly positive. And it definitely does not feel like a first-time show. It's our first time in Louisville, but as far as the excitement behind it, you would think it was, Chicago or Indiana, where we've been, doing shows there for 5 years. It really feels like the fans in Kentucky have been waiting for this.
We have.
And are almost kind of telling us, like, damn, what took you so long,
Yeah, and we have, man. Trust me. I mean, I know we got Scarefest. Thank God we got Scarefest. It's been here for 7, 8 years now. There's more areas that need it, honestly. And I'm glad that there's another one. And speaking of that, I kept thinking this was your guys' 3rd or 4th year, but this is your guys' first year. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the first year. Like I said, we've been wanting to jump into Louisville for a while. Folks have been asking for us to do Louisville, and I'm glad we finally found the right venue to do it. And I went to visit Louisville a couple of months ago to when we were working things out with the hotel. And it just seemed to have the right kind of weird that our show requires. You got a lot of the community seems to really embrace, creativity, really embrace independent businesses. You got a lot of tattoo shops and quirky record stores and comic stores. And just in that city alone, everywhere we went, all the store owners were excited to, carry flyers and put up posters, and they seemed so incredibly supportive. And they got a lot of those kind of niche shops that you would expect to see more of in bigger cities like Chicago. But Louisville, for being a smaller city than Chicago, has just as much cool stuff going on in it. And, after that first weekend, I knew we had made the right move.
Yeah, dude, I mean, you guys are in Louisville, and now we got Louder in Life that's there. So, I mean, this is kicking up for awesome things to bring into Louisville here for Kentucky. Yeah,
it seems like a city that's really ready to support stuff like that. I mean, just in the weekend, we went, I think a weekend or two before the Derby, and there was an art festival going on. There was several different rock and metal shows going on. There was some other like craft fair. I mean, all in the same place, and it's the kind of stuff that you see in a bigger, hipper city, for lack of a better term. But Louisville has so much personality and so much character that I'm stoked to be there, man, and I'm glad I got to see it for myself. And you guys got some great restaurants. I'm going to tell you that, man. I'm a foodie. I love to eat. And I was absolutely killing it at Ramsey's and Luchador Taco and hitting up all those great spots you guys have.
So why did you want to add the tattoo to this convention? I know some do and then some don't, but why did you want to add the tattoo to the horror convention?
Well, we've always had a tattoo element to some degree at our shows, just not live tattooing. We've always done a tattoo contest, and that's gone over really well, and it's grown incredibly over the years. And so when we finally got to a city where there wasn't as much red tape and local politics around doing live tattooing, we decided to go ahead and give it a shot. We recently did the Tattoo Expo in Los Angeles to a real great reception, and now we're doing it even bigger in Louisville, and that's gotten a tremendous response. So, we're hoping that it's as well received as we're perceiving it will be. And we're actually in the process of working on doing it in Atlanta as well.
Oh, nice. Now, here's something I want to ask, and people think these are easy to put together. These are not. This is very, very time-consuming and very, very frustrating for those who do this. So when do you start to prepare for next year's conventions or adding a show to another location? When does this process start?
As far as adding a new show, it's honestly like a 2-year process. I mean, you're looking at putting things together 2 years in advance, simply because finding a venue is a really long, tricky process. And even if you were to just try to book dates, I mean, these things there's so many other things that hotels get used for that, to free up some space on the calendar where you're not really conflicting with another show too much, or, they're not hosting something else. It's pretty tough. You got to at least go a year and a half out, but just in terms of finding a spot, just in terms of, promoting it. I mean, when we've gone into new cities, I like to give myself at least a year of promotion, just, going out into the city, hitting the local shops, hitting the streets, putting flyers in people's hands. And, that in itself, I think is a lost art almost. I see a lot of promoters that rely on the internet and buying ads on Facebook and, things like that. And, it works for some, and it works for us too. But I'm kind of an old school guy. I've been doing promotions in one capacity or another since I was 19. And,
Wow.
I've been on street teams and, I've done stuff like that. And to me, I don't think there will ever be a replacement from just going to another event, going into festivals, going into, shops in the city that you're working in and creating relationships with people and putting a flyer in their hand and telling them what you're about and really getting them to know who you are. I mean, those community relationships to me are invaluable. And I think it's one of the reasons why our show has succeeded so rapidly in the last 5 years, where, we're actually having dealings with real people rather than just doing all our business over the internet.
Yeah.
But
that's more
in
important.
terms of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's more important when you have the face-to-face interaction with people and you can see what their, justification of what you're doing.
Yeah, because I can go ahead and I can write up a hell of a press release and convey how excited we are to be coming to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
But, if I put a flyer in your hand and we're looking at each other face to face, you're going to see how excited I am about coming to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sort of stuff's infectious. And I think people see that you honestly really want to, do right and honestly want to bring an exciting show when you have that face-to-face contact. So to me, that's key. That's crucial. I try to personally get out to every city that we operate in as much as possible. I live just outside of Chicago, so for our Chicago and Indianapolis shows, that's not very hard. But, we like to fly out and, we have teams that'll go and hit the ground and really, push that paper into people's hands. But as far as our already established shows, it's like a 6 to 8 month process, just, in terms of getting celebrities booked and, promoting and all that. I mean, you're right. It's definitely a full-time job and a half in itself.
Yeah. And I've been sharing it on Facebook a lot. I gave tickets away for this. I'm very excited for this coming up here very shortly. Are you guys going to keep the convention in Louisville, or is this just a trial period, or let's go with that a little bit?
We're already signed on for the next year. We started out just signing for 1 year, but as well as our pre-sale tickets did, we very quickly knew like Louisville's going to work. So we went ahead and signed on for one more. And after this show, I have a feeling we'll probably look to go into like a long-term thing with the Crown, because Louisville's just been so receptive of what we're doing that I really would like to stay in Louisville and grow and have it be its own thing. I mean, one thing that we've seen is every city that we've done almost takes on a personality of its own. Like, Chicago's got a personality, and Atlanta has a personality, and LA has a personality, and Louisville, I can already kind of see, just based off when we visited the city, the kind of fans that we've gotten, supporting us, the kind of press that I've done. It's got its own vibe. It's got its own special vibe, and it's a vibe that I really, really dig. So Louisville is definitely in our plans for the.
What do you hope the fans take away from the convention, Adolfo, once they leave a day of Days of the Dead at Louisville?
I just hope they come away with a good time and come away feeling like we celebrated horror and celebrated the things that they're into, we're into, and did it justice. Days of the Dead, I think, differentiates itself well from other shows in that it's not what I call a donut shop show, and by that I mean, you walk in, you make your purchase, you choose what you want, you give them your money, and you walk out. Right. Days of the Dead, I think, is more, and it's kind of what we're known for, just being like, a gathering of friends, being a party, being just, a celebration to the horror genre that we all love, and metal and tattoos and, all those things that we grew up on. And, I just want Louisville to feel a part of our crazy family that we've been growing over the last 5 years in all these different cities, and just have them join us.
I wish you could have got Phil at Louisville. I know there's 3 more spots that I saw that was on the website. I was just wondering if you guys are going to add any more, or please get Phil.
We're talking to 2 or 3 other celebrities at the moment, and it's just going to come down to whether the particulars can get worked out in time. They may all come through, and we'll have 3 guests added by the time all is said and done, or none of them may come through, and we'll just ride in with what we got, which I think is a great roster as is. I think it's one of our strongest ones, and I mean, you always want to just keep going. Fans love it. We love just continuing to take it even further and further. I mean, it's just as much fun for us to work with these celebrities, and we're fans too. But we'll see how it shakes up. Hopefully we hope to hear back from at least one of the guests we're working on in the next day or so. But yeah, we're definitely still working. We work up all the way up to like the Wednesday of the show when we get in a car and drive to the show, or get in a plane and fly to the show. We're making calls and working it all the way up till.
Wow. I just like to say again, thank you guys for what you're doing, and how can people still purchase tickets, Adolfo, and book the rooms and stuff, or can they still book the rooms right now?
From what I understand, the convention rate at the hotel is sold out. I think they have a handful of rooms left at the regular rate. There's also a ton of hotel places to stay all around that. I mean, it's right across from the airport, so there's tons of places to stay at all price points. As far as tickets go, head on over to www.daysofthedead.net, and you'll get a little banner pop up with all our different cities. Click on Louisville, and it'll be everything you need to know, down to the event schedule, the celebrities, what movies we're showing, what artists are going to be tattooing. You can get the whole rundown there. And you could also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/daysofthedead. We're updating constantly, so hit us up on either one of those sites, and you'll be squared away.
Folks, I'm just going to go over just a little bit who's going to be there. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. If you don't know who she is in the horror, then you've totally missed out on horror stuff. Mick Foley, great guy. Sid Haig and Bill Mosley of House of 1,000 Corpses. Also, we've got Heather, and I cannot, Legenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street. Amanda Weiss from Nightmare on Elm Street. This is going to be a great, awesome convention. And what I'm really excited about, man, I'm glad, thank God you guys did this, is you got the folks from Hellraiser. You've got Pinhead. You've got the Chatter. You've got Butterball. You've got and Barbie White. And the other Cinnabite. This is absolutely awesome, dude, for what you guys are doing right here with this one.
I'm stoked about that one because, the other Cenobites all live in the UK. Doug Bradley's the only one that's local, so it's pretty tough to get them all together at one show. It's only, in like the 15 years I've been going to conventions, I think I've only seen it happen maybe 3 times. So, to be able to do that, that's a big deal, and that's something where, I just, every time I'm like scrolling through our site, and see that graphic with the 4 of them together, I get chills, man.
Hey, before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
No, absolutely, man. Hey, guys, this is Adolfo from the Days of the Dead Horror Convention, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Adolfo.
Yes, sir.